So Devin McCourty, let's start with this. I mean, it feels, I guess, like you're a rookie again, joining Football Night in America. How's the transition going from captain of the Patriots, Super Bowl champion, to now you're in the media world here? What's this like?
Man, it's been awesome. At work today, I come in, I'm carrying my box with my suits, and Maria Taylor walks by. She said, "Man, you carrying your own box?" I said, "I'm a rookie. That's what the rookies got to do." So it's been really great, man. Everybody at NBC has been awesome at just giving me feedback. Coach Dungy, Rodney Harrison, first day on the job, they're giving me little tidbits. Hey, do this, do that, say this, don't say that. So everybody's been really hands-on and helping me with the transition. So I'm looking to have a great season and have a lot of fun.
And you know Rodney's going to tell you what's up.
Yeah, exactly.
Pull back. What's the best piece of advice you've gotten making this transition so far?
We sat in one production meeting, and I was sitting right next to Coach Dungy, and I said something. It was like a 5-second tidbit, and he said, "That right there is it." He said, "Anytime you can give a ton of information in 5 seconds," he said, "that's gold. Like, say that and do that as much as possible." And that was great for me because that was like in the moment. I felt like I was back on the field. Like in the moment, you make a right read and you do it, and the coach grabs you right away. And just so you have that feeling and you know right away, like when that comes up, you know it's a home run, it's a hit. Ride it out and say it. And Coach Dungy told me that. I was back in Canton when we did the Hall of Fame game, and that helped out a lot. So I'm going to hold on to that piece of advice, and hopefully sometime way down the road, I could give that to the next rookie.
Hold on, though. Saying as much as you can in 5 seconds is the complete opposite of what it was like in that Patriots locker room when we would all come in for the 45-minute open media session.
Yeah, you come in there, depending on which day, that locker room could be pretty empty, and we're probably not saying much.
No, my favorite was always, it was usually Gostkowski was in there. There was a long snapper in there. And then with like 2 or 3 minutes left in the session, Stacey James would tap his watch and be like, "Okay, guys, it's time to head out." And then the door would open in the back. And here comes Brady. Here comes Randy Moss. Here comes Stephen Ridley. Everybody's coming in.
Yeah, I didn't get to be that guy during that time. I was just a rookie, and I only went in when they told us, because every other time you were scared to death as a rookie. You say the wrong thing and have to go talk to Bill and his office about, what are we saying? We're talking about the game plan. We're talking about injuries. Like, we don't want to do that. I'm like, Coach, I'm sorry. So long time in the making to be on this side of the camera talking freely.
All right, so let's talk freely about the Jets, which is it's the Jets, and I was at the game Saturday at MetLife, and, as I said on Saturday, and it's kind of like you have to see Aaron Rodgers in full uniform with the number 8 head to toe in Jets green to really appreciate that he is the Jets starting quarterback. It is so weird to see. How do you think this is going to work here?
It's been interesting. I usually never watch Hard Knocks because as a player, I didn't like the feel-good stories, and I got to play against this guy, but I'm like kind of a fan of the guy from watching her. So I hated watching it. I've been watching it, and all of the New England people that follow me on Twitter got really upset because I tweeted out, like, I'm falling in love with Aaron Rodgers. Like, I love every bit of this content. And I do. I think it's going to work out really well. I think a lot of people, I think it's the Jet kind of nature to think it can't be this good. It's almost like too good to be true. So almost all the Jets fans that I know are kind of sitting back like, we know it's going to go bad. We know it's going to crash. I don't think so. I think watching them and watching when Aaron Rodgers took the field and seeing the confidence that the offense played with Garrett Wilson, the little tidbits, the little small things he's telling Garrett Wilson, like, man, just be here. I'm going to get you the ball there. Just do this. I'm excited to watch this Jets team. I think the defense, obviously coming off a year like last year where I think they were ranked 4th, they're going to be phenomenal again. They have too many pass rushers not to get after you. So watching Quentin Williams and his leadership and what he's going to do on that defensive side, I think Jet fans should be excited. Be ready to go in there and chant Jets. Like, be excited each week going into the game. And, obviously starting off Monday night in the division with Buffalo will be a great test. But I don't think that game will just determine their season overall. I think this team has a chance to be really good and compete. And in my opinion, probably the toughest division in football.
For me, and I think everyone in that stadium watching, it was that one touchdown pass to Garrett Wilson where he put that ball I mean, how do you defend that? How do you defend that? You can't.
You don't. I mean, that is what the beauty of Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Like when you have one of those guys on your team, and I think you see Coach Saleh, every time he does something, Saleh, they show it, they close up on him in Hard Knocks. He goes, man, that quarterback's good. Because he knows it. He's a defensive guy. He knows what it is playing against quarterbacks like that who make throws like that. And then what I love the most is he makes a throw and then he finds Ward right away and he's like, don't poke the bear. Like, don't do it because he knows what he brings. And I think that's what they're going to see week in and week out. Not just the throws that are going to be on the money, but it's going to be the clutch time in the game. Like, we didn't get to see that in the preseason. That's an early drive, great throw, everybody's happy. But it's the drives at the end of the half, the drives at the end of the game where it's 1 minute and 30 seconds left. And I think normally a lot of Jets fans have kind of got to that point in the game where they're like, well, here we go again. We lost. Well, now, no, you're going to be excited wondering what magic Aaron Rodgers is going to bring on that last drive. And I think you're going to see some of that magic throughout the season.
From a defensive back standpoint, what is it that makes Garrett Wilson so good as a wide receiver after just 1 year?
Yeah, man, I love watching Garrett Wilson. I think what you love about watching young guys, you come in, you win Offensive Rookie of the Year, and that's great and everything. You watch him, and you're like, man, this guy's a good player. But watching him now in year 2, seeing how much work he's putting into getting better, seeing him talk to the other receivers, talk to Aaron Rodgers of where he needs to be, how he can attack guys' leverage on defense, how he can maneuver and be in certain situations that best uses his skill set. Seeing him now develop the mental part of the game and getting better at that, skies is the limit. Like, we played him last year, and coming into the game, we're like, this guy's their best receiver. This guy's dangerous in short areas. He's dangerous catching medium, kind of intermediate passes, and he's dangerous going deep. And, like, when you have guys like that, it's a matchup nightmare for the defense because everyone has to be aware. You can't just put one guy on him and say, hey, that guy's going to handle it. The safeties need to be aware of the screen passes that he might catch or how he might run a slant route and attack the middle of the defense. And I think Garrett Wilson is developing all of that on the go. And now he has a mastermind in Aaron Rodgers to show him, hey, you want to be as good as Devontae Adams? This is what Devontae Adams did. This is what he did day in and day out. If you do that, you can accomplish and do those same things. And now I think Garrett Wilson has something to chase. And I think it's going to be fun to watch him this year, chase those goals and try to be one of those top 5 to 8 guys in the whole league.
He's gone up against Sauce Gardner every day in practice. I mean, that's that iron sharpens iron mentality.
Yeah, I mean, Sauce Gardner it's unfair. He's the guy you go when you're growing up and you're playing Madden and you make yourself, right? I made Devin McCourty that was going to start at corner. And even though I was only 5'10 and a half, 5'11, I put 6'3", I put 205 pounds, and I could still run 4'3" and had the long arm. Like, that's the guy I made. And then here comes last year, Sauce Gardner, that Madden player that I kept making all those years. He came into the NFL. And I love his attitude on the field, but I think what's been fun to see as a guy outside of the locker room now is just how humble he is, how he wants to work hard. He wants to make the other guys around him better, and he wants to just be mentioned with all of the best corners. He doesn't really care where you rank him. He knows what he is. He wants to uplift the other guys at the cornerback position and talk about how great playing corner is and how we can dominate wide receivers. That's what he's all about. And you watch him a little bit behind the scenes on Hard Knocks and you see some of the interviews. You have to root for the guy. And I'm excited to see what he does in year 2, how he comes back and shows like, hey, that wasn't just last year. And now I know you have film on me. And I know you think you know what I do well and what I don't do well, but I'm going to show you I'm just a shutdown guy week in and week out. And we're going to see that. And that defense is going to count on him. They're going to count on Reed opposite. And it's going to be fun to see what that combination can do for years to come. And I think all New York Jet fans should be excited about what they have in the secondary. Start off with those 2 cornerbacks.
All right, last one from me. If we flip it over to the Giants, and a playoff team last year, but we saw what that gap was like when they went up against the Philadelphia Eagles. What does this team need to take that next step and get a little bit closer to where Philadelphia is at?
Yeah, I think they need to believe in what they're doing. I got to go over to the Giants practice during training camp, and I was around Brian Daboll We call him Dave's. I was around him in New England, and he was always very free-flowing, talking trash in our one-on-ones because he coached the tight ends. And, that wouldn't just be in the one-on-ones. Walking off the field, he'd bring up a bad play that you had and kind of crack a joke on you. I think the Giants need to know the guy they have at the top is putting them and pointing them to the direction to be that team. So, yes, I know. You're going against a juggernaut in Philadelphia in your division. Your division is going to be one of the best divisions in football again this year, with the Cowboys having a strong team. And I think the Commanders are going to be better than people think as well. But I think the Giants need to just have that confidence and that belief. They had a lot of down years coming into last year, and, you get a little bit over the top. You win a playoff game, but it doesn't really go exactly how you plan. But you need to know it's going to be a little harder to even get back to that position, but you're poised to do it. You have the team to do it. Now it's going and doing it. It's not having a little bit of the doubt that you might have had last year. It's going all in. As we used to say at Rutgers back in the day, you got to burn the boats. Once we burn those boats, there's no coming back. We're on that island to take over and dominate. And I think that's the attitude the Giants need to have this year if they want to be back in the playoffs and want to be a contender to playing that last game of the season in the Super Bowl.
Gotta keep chopping, right?
Got to keep chopping.
All right, man.